something you might remember. I put this unit in middle of last year, I think. I should start putting dates on things. And we did this one, and we did the one next to it. He had the two of them. I think this was first, I think. Anyway, I got called to it. It's tripped power out overnight. And we had a lot of stormy weather here, driving rain, all sorts of things. And I thought, well, favourite's crankcase heater. That seemed okay. And I was getting a short on the compressor wires down here, which was concerning. So even though it should be under warranty, you just don't want that hassle of it. Plus they might turn around and say it's not covered or whatever. Anyway, took the wires off the compressor and that checked out. The compressor checked fine. So I thought, oh, is it the cabling? That was fine. So then we traced it back in. What we actually had was in with the blue phase. I think there's a wire blown about here. Is that wire there? That is the fan speed controller live feed. So you've got live and neutral to the fan speed controller, and then a controlled live and neutral out to run the fan at varying speeds, because we've got heat recovery on this. So sometimes we don't need the full condenser capacity. So the short was going through the fan speed controller and back up the neutral. And we've got two neutral connections on this. One does the fan speed control and the fan, and the other one does the crankcase heater. And I thought, crankcase heater is going through the neutrals. Disconnected that was fine, because all the neutrals are joined up here. But then we seem to have a short on the live of the crankcase heater, I think. Anyway, thought, oh, maybe, well, anyway, basically traced all the way back up to here. And then on these two yellow wires, they do the permanent live in to the pressure switch and the switch live out that goes through the overloads. And when I pressed the reset on there, we lost the short, so it was going through the contactor core and the neutrals. Long story short, I think what we've actually got is a fault on the wire where it goes through this conduit and up the wall. Because if we connect onto there, so we're connected onto that wire, that's the other end of it there, one of these two at the other end. We're earthed onto there. 0.11 megaohms. And then on the other yellow wire, it's 27 gigaohms. So if we go down to here, the other end, that's the shorted one, 0.2. So the lower one is the shorted one. Got to remember that when we're on the other one. And that's fine. So that one there is the shorted one. So somewhere in this conduit, we've got a damage, probably the insulation's damaged. The water's got in. Where we've had all this rain, it's probably gone down a bit now, but the water levels come up. So we're I think I'll see if I can pull a fresh cable through. Failing that, we've got a spare neutral in effect, because one's only doing the crankcase heater and the other's doing the fan, and they're both big enough. I think we had I can't remember why we had two separate neutrals on this from the previous unit that was on here. We might have switched the neutral for the fan. I can't remember now, because it's had a new contact. This is 20. This is part of this is 25 plus years old. Anyway, that's the cable there. So we're going to pull a new cable in, I think. I'll try and do that and see if we can get this working. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was starting to think it might have been the pressure switch that shorted out. And maybe, you know, sort of thinking if we had a load of driving rain and water's got in it. Although to be fair, these Alco ones are pretty waterproof from my experience. Anyway, let's get this cable pulled in and see what happens. Okay, I've got that joined on there. I've split the wires into two separate strands of copper and twisted them together independently, and I've taped one of them down that way and one of them upward that way, So you'd really have to do something to pull apart. So I've just sprayed a bit of silicone spray in there, so we'll see how far we get with it. Right, yeah, I've got my bloody fluorescent workwear on this because it's cold here. I've got some thermally lined workwear. Anyway, that's our new wire in there. It's all back together, I think. We've got the wires back on the compressor. I think we've put these back in the right place. So I'll measure it before I try it, but I think that's ready to go. Anyway, I was just having a look at the cable, trying to work out where the fault is, and I think it might be that little spot there. That little black dot. I'm not sure, but that it's going to be in that section there that was horizontal on the floor, because that's the only place the moisture is going to get to, I think. And I've lost it now. Wherever it there, and that I've measured it sort of where it would be in the cable, and it would be sort of between here and back here. And that is the only thing I can see. And I'm just wondering whether it's got like a little pinhole in the insulation and it's darkened it where it's shorted out. Because when I first run my finger over it, I thought I could feel something. I don't know. I couldn't see anything else on there. So, yeah. And that was put in probably 25 plus years ago. It's been fine until now. So I don't know if I can do this single-handed. My usual rubbish camera work. Put that in there. Getting the test button. We've got 1.4 gigaohms on that one. Let's go to that one because that's the one where it was all going back up that wire. 1.53, 1.7 gigaohms, 1.93. So that's what we've got on there. So I'm going to say that's good. Right, I've had another look at this cable. I was going to try that little mark I found and put the mega on it. Anyway, and I found that, which is worse. And I've just tried the mega on it and we got dead short. So yeah, that's the fault there. It may well have had that other little black mark, might have been a bit of damage as well, unless it was on the opposite side or something stupid. Because I can't find out the little mark now. But anyway, yeah, that's the problem. Damaged insulation. Right, just turned it on. It's come on. Fans kicked in, gone off on the. It's going to cycle on the head pressure fan speed control. I think I've got it set about minimum 250 psi, which it needs to be about that 250, 260 to get enough heat in the hot gas pipes to make the heat recovery worth having. Well, that's a relief it's not the compressor or the fan motor. Just need to pump it down just to make sure I've wired the pressure switch in properly. Last thing we want to do is it be running continuous, and when the solenoid shuts it'll go into a vacuum and kill the compressor. That's the cover down here vibrating. Yeah, that's an interesting one for a Monday morning. Shut the receiver valve and see if it pumps down. These Alco pressure switches have 4 connections inside, so you've got your live in, your switch live out, and then they have a signal wire, I think, for a low pressure. You could put if you had a control panel, you could have a light that come on when the LP tripped, and you could have a light that comes on when the HP tripped, to signal, that information to somebody that needed to know. And what I don't want to do, because I've put the what you have to be careful of with these terminals is because they're quite deep. If you're not looking at them dead square on, you think you've got the screwdriver in number 8, but you've actually poked the wire in number 7. If that makes sense. So, you know, anyway, that's just gone off. And if we let that go again, you should hear that. Come back on, I didn't hear it click, but there we go. That's kind of proved when it pumps down, it will shut the compressor off. So we haven't mistakenly wired the into the signal wire. If we'd wired the HP in wrong, the signal wire is only going to come on when the HP trips, so it wouldn't run now. Anyway, we've proved it turns on and off. It's always worth doing that. Even some places where they've put the hose on the wrong side of the tap, if you've took your gauges off and left the tap shut, it'll pump down, but it'll never send the pressure. The pressure will never drop in that pipe, and the thing won't switch off. So it's always worth making sure that'll work, because you'll kill a compressor doing that. I've seen that done years ago. She got so hot it shrunk the label on the thing, like when you used to heat crisp packets up and make them shrink. Anyway, I think that was that. Something simple.